This dream is the earliest of all the dreams of me as the sister of Uran. My name was Miran. The earliest of my dreams, i.e. this one, I would have been maybe 8 years old. I was living with my parents and sometimes with my brother, who came and lived with us occasionally. It was in a very nice village near a lake. I can picture the house in great detail. The front of the house was made of wood, but the back, it was built into the hillside and included a very high turret where Uran started his experiments. By the time I was born, my brother was already well underway to fulfilling his destiny, so I just came in partway through to what he was doing. My parents would tell me all about what my brother was doing when he wasn't with us. The technology we had before Tantal was probably better than other human groups, but it wasn't very sophisticated. Technology developed very quickly once Uran began inventing. Uran did not want us to stay where we were. He said we were vulnerable to wild animals and competing human groups. Uran wanted to build a whole new city. He had already built a fairly primitive flying device by the time he was 20, but that machine was very slow and clunky, but he used it to search for just the right place to build the new city. The leader at the time trusted Uran with everything because, Uran was a genius, a very practical genius who was constantly finding ways to make our lives better. So when Uran said that he'd found the perfect location, the leader just accepted it. Uran found a place where there was an unusual natural formation. He theorized that a meteorite had hit an area where there was maybe hydrothermal activity about 100 million years ago, and it created terrain that was conducive to his purposes. It wasn't perfect, but with work it could be just what he wanted. So the main things that he wanted to achieve were he wanted the place to be secure and easily protected. He wanted an availability of fresh water. He wanted access to the ocean for a harbour. And he wanted it to be large enough to house all of our people, with space for us to grow and enough land for everything we needed. Any other useful resources would be a bonus, like metals or minerals, or even hot water. And most importantly, it must be well away from other human groups that regularly tormented us. So finally, I'm getting to the dream. So in the dream, I'm a child hiding with my parents because of hundreds of naked white men running through the streets of the town, screaming at the top of their voices. It was pretty scary. I did not see any weapons, neither from them or from us. But that was only natural for us because we were pacifists anyway, and we were not looking for a fight, so we just hid. They took whatever they wanted. Rarely did they take any technology because it wasn't something they understood. They wanted food, beer, gold, silver, fabric, etc. Fabric, yep. Who would have guessed it? But they still kept turning up naked for their rampaging, so it would be safe to assume that the naked screaming was a technique for scaring us rather than a lack of fabric. Anyway, they arrived empty-handed but left with their arms loaded up with our stuff. Probably why they didn't bother to carry weapons. It gave them enough more carrying space. They didn't need to, so they just could carry as much stuff as they wanted out. They came from the north, where the people were paler. We were darker skinned. When I look in the mirror in my dreams, I look similar to me. Similar, but not identical. The features are similar, but I have a darker skin colour. But I feel like it's me. I look in the mirror and it just feels like me. My brother and father, they both had red hair, which only about 10% of the people of Tantal had. The rest of us predominantly had brown hair. Uran had invented an early warning system by this stage, so we at least knew when they were coming. We'd become very capable of hiding both ourselves and anything else we didn't want them to see, but it was a real pain in the backside for everyone. It was scary at the time, but later we came to appreciate it because it was one of the main reasons for why we all wanted to build a new city, the city of Tantal.